serial killers are such a very foreign, they're a very foreign concept in Kenya and in Africa in general. But did you know there's actually been two formidable serial killers in Kenya or from Kenya? Uh, yeah, because when we think of serial killers, we think of Jeffrey Dahmer, we think of Ted Bundy and such. Like they're very Western. But in 2021, 2021 was a very interesting year for Kenya because apparently two serial killers were figured out. The first one was a man by the name of Mastin Wanjala. I don't know if you remember in 2021. Mastin Wanjala. This guy was from Bungoma County. And apparently, this guy was born in 2001. That's how young this guy is, which makes his case particularly interesting. Uh, so, in 2021, this guy confessed to murdering 10 children, which is crazy. Think about it. And it's, what, something that's actually more interesting is that he started murdering children when he was 16 years old. 16 years old it's actually, that's more like a, what, that's a grade 12. It could be grade 8 actually, grade 10. That's a Form 2 child of Form 3. So in high school, this guy had already started murdering other children, which I don't know what. I mean, this guy must have been really messed up in the head. And apparently his tactic, he had a very specific taste. Every serial killer has his own specific demographic target, and this guy's target was actually young boys, specifically boys. Okay, so it's very possible that he might have been homosexual because when they looked at his victims, they found out that most of them had actually been sexually assaulted, and they were boys, all of them. So he started off at 16, but he didn't stop up until when he was caught in 2021, when apparently he confessed. I don't know, there's not enough news to actually explain why he confessed. I don't know if he just decided to go forward to the police and admit, but they found out 10 bodies. So this guy wasn't bluffing. And apparently he was also drinking blood of his victims. All this happened, he was caught in October 2021. And by that time, like I said, he was from Bungoma, but he moved to Nairobi, and that's why he killed most of his victims. One of his victims was actually, was it Brian Omondi? They found him in the outskirts of Nairobi. And this guy, apparently he would go on to young boys and be like, pretend to be a football coach, and be like, I have opportunities for you if you want to play football. And he used this to lure young boys, and apparently when the boys were very comfortable with them, he'd strangle them, mostly with his feet, mostly with his hands. But apparently officers believe he also used like blunt force objects, maybe like a rungu. And then after that, he'd take advantage of him and and kill them, then dump him. Now, how did this guy get caught? That's interesting. There's not enough reports on how he got caught, but there's a very interesting. His case is very interesting because apparently he escaped custody from Nairobi when he was caught. So this guy was caught for murdering 10 children. They took him to a police station in Nairobi, and this guy broke out, which is crazy. Police stations in Kenya are well guarded, but somehow this guy escaped police custody, and the circumstances by which he escaped is it's very shady, because apparently there wasn't any force. Nobody broke that door. Like they went and looked at the door locks, and they found out that there wasn't like forced exit. So one of the officers probably just opened the door, and that guy just walked out. And when he escaped custody, he did probably one of the dumbest thing he could ever do. Okay, I mean, this guy was a serial killer. He'd gotten away with 10 murders this time, but he made the ultimate mistake. Okay, what he did is that he escaped and went to the most expected place that you would expect somebody to escape from. He went from Nairobi and went back to his parents' house in Bungoma, which was a very, very dumb move because that's the first place they were going to look for him. And so when they launched the manhunt, you'd expect that police officers were going to be the one to catch him again, but actually this time it was the villagers from his village in Bungoma County. This guy's when they heard that this guy had escaped prison, and this guy, news had reached his village because when you murder 10 children, that's kind of like the news that kind of goes around pretty fast. And people in Bungoma were already on they had their radar very wide and looking out for him. And when they found him out at his parents' place in Bungoma. And obviously they killed him. People are just too mad. How can you go ahead and kill 10 children? So they murdered him, and that was October 2021. And sadly, look, I think he deserved to die, okay? But I feel like he could have been taken in for custody so we could find out a lot more. Maybe there was a lot more children who he had killed. Maybe he could have told us a lot more about why he killed those children. Because it's not normal for a 16-year-old child to kill other children. I don't know about you guys, but at 16 years old, all I worried about was girls and, I don't know, and just random stuff like listening to music from DJ Khaled and Rick Ross. And those were different times. But yeah, for somebody to kill 10 children at the age of 16, that was just absurd and very un-Kenyan. You can actually look up his story. It's all over the internet. Actually, I'm reading this from BBC. Like I said, his name is Mastin Wanjala, probably one of the most prolific Kenyan serial killers. But there's another one. But this one wasn't based in Kenya. He was from Kenya, but he was based in the United States. And his name is Billy Chemirmir. I don't know if you all remember Billy Chemirmir. So Billy Chemirmir was from Eldamaravin in Kenya. For those who don't know Eldamaravin, it's in Baringo County. And so this guy went to the United States in the late 90s, early 2000s, about 1998, probably around there. And when he settled down in the United States, he actually got married in 2006. I didn't find the exact who he got married to. Maybe he married a Kenyan or a Mzungu, but it fell out after a few years. He didn't get married for too long. But it wasn't until 2016 is when this guy actually started killing, right? So between 2016, early 2000 to 2016, he had been caught with he was actually not in good terms with the law. He had been arrested a few times for drunken driving, I believe. So he wasn't really he didn't really have a clean record, but he wasn't outstanding in any way. Like he had not murdered anybody until in 2016. And in 2016, this guy became a caregiver. And so out of nowhere, at 48 years old, this guy just started having a killer instinct. I don't know if it was deep within him or he just took the opportunity. But this guy started murdering because he was a caregiver. And those who know caregivers, when you're a caregiver, you tend to hang around older folks, right? And most of these older folks, older women or men, they tend to have a lot of money. They've been working all their lives, and so they have jewelry and cash in their houses. And this guy was a caregiver. And those who don't know, caregiving in the U.S., sometimes you actually do it in somebody's house. You just get called, and you got to live with that person, the older person, and you take care of them, wash them, and whatnot. So this is where this guy got that. He figured that most of these older folks were close to dying. Most of them are like 87, 90. They're very close to dying. And so this was a very good opportunity for him because he thought, if I kill them, people would just assume that they died of natural causes. When you get too old, you might just die. Sadly, it's just a human thing. When we get past 90, most people just die in their sleep. And so this was a perfect cover for him because he would go on and when the when the older women, especially women, his victims, he killed 22 women, older women, and the way he killed women, the women, was by suffocating them. So he'd wait until they're asleep, then he'd take a pillow and put it on top of their. You know how they do in movies, right? But this was real life, and it's very sad. I put the pillow on top of them and kind of just hold it. And they're very weak. They're grannies and they're not very strong. This guy was 48 and very heavy. You should look him up on the internet, Brian. Billy Chamirmi is a very big fellow. So I don't think he had a hard time killing them. But in 2021, he made the fatal mistake when he didn't finish off. So apparently he went on with doing these things and he wasn't never caught. Because like I said, most people just assumed that these women were dying out of natural causes. Because most of them were kind of sick, like just weak from old age. But in 2021, this guy made the fatal mistake of not, because he went ahead and tried to kill one of the women, and I don't know how, but that woman survived. And when she survived, she went on to tell the police, right? And this was all in East Texas. I mean, he was moving around, caregiving, you move around, but the woman who said apparently called the cops when that guy put the pill on him, tried to kill him, and didn't kill him. And when he called the cops, it was very easy to identify this guy because they have a record of caregivers who come in and whatnot. And apparently, the cops in Texas they found the guy in the parking lot, and he had the jewelry that he had stolen from the woman that he thought he killed, right? And yeah, that was very easy. So at first it was like attempted murder, but then they started going back to his record and looking at the women that he had taken care of. And they found out there was a pattern, right? Every woman that this guy kind of was caregiving at one point or another died. So they were able to put up the pieces together, and they found him guilty. Of course, he went to court. But interestingly, this guy was killed. When they sent him to jail, they sentenced him to life without the possibility of parole. Because that was a capital offense. When you kill older folks in Texas, that tends to be a capital offense. And most of the time, I'm surprised that they didn't give him a death penalty, because that's how, for 22 people they tend to give people like that a death penalty, but they gave him a life without possibility of parole. But sadly, or not sadly, or for some reason, in September 20th, when this guy was serving his life sentence, he made a remark. Apparently, he made a sexual remark on one of the inmates' children, and that guy just went ahead and stabbed him. And he ended him this year. And the guy died. So those are the two famous Kenyan serial killers, which is sadly a very bad image on the country, because we want to export like good people, right? We want to export hardworking folks and hardworking businessmen and doctors and lawyers, engineers. But sadly, every now and then, we come across people like Billy Chimirmir and the other guy, Mastin Wanjala. And Billy Chimirmir is actually he's actually one of the top serial killers in Texas now. 22, he killed 22 people. That's like up there. And he probably killed more people than Daimler, right? So yeah, that's kind of like the cool story about the serial killers from Kenya. Apparently we have them. But anyway, that kind of wraps up my story for today. Let's go ahead and do a few shout outs. But yeah, don't go around killing people, man. It's not good, man. We need to have conscience and respect other folks and whatever. But yeah, shout out to a few people. Shout out to Jamat Sinyazi, by the way. Jamat Sinyazi, a good friend of mine. He commented. Thank you very much, Jamat Sinyazi. I've been watching you live. You're doing a great job, my brother. I'm pulling up my previous post so I can see people who liked. Shout out to Tyrone Beer. Shout out to Moses Bit, Arab Laban. Thank you very much. To Jalima Kori, to Faith Biwat. Thank you very much. Raini Chichi, Shazi Lex, and Diana Aurelia Korir, my homegirl, all the way from Kimumu. Thank you all very much. This video is going to be on YouTube in a few minutes, so be sure to watch it on there if you don't want to watch it on Facebook. Yeah, it's been 15 minutes. Peace.